Welcome to the Premier's Reading Challenge Data Entry tutorial for non-government schools. Please note you are not required to send in any student reading records or reports to DECT. All student data will be collected electronically as detailed in this fact sheet. This system is for use with computers with Internet Explorer 6, 7 and 8. This software will not operate on a Mac computer, a computer with a Windows 98 operating system, or a Firefox browser. If these are your only options, please contact us at prc@sa.gov.au. This tutorial will start from page 8 of your data entry instructions. If you have trouble logging on to the Premier's Reading Challenge data management system using the username and password that have been sent to you, please email us at prc@sa.gov.au or call 08 8226 4300. If you are not at a non-government school, please stop now, go back to the PRC website and look at the DECT data entry instructions page. Please turn to page 8 of your data entry instructions. Once you have logged on, you will see the main screen, the welcome screen. Click on Menu and then Non-Government. Here you will see 4 options listed. There will be enrolments. This is where you enter the number of students enrolled at your school, not the number of students who have completed the challenge. For example, if you have 50 students in years reception to year 2, but only 45 completed the challenge, here you would enter 50 as the enrolment figure for reception to year 2. The next menu option is the existing students. This is where you enter the students who have completed the challenge at your school in previous years. The next menu option is the new students. This is where you enter the students who are new to your school or who are doing the challenge at your school for the first time this year. And then the fourth option is the reports. If you do not see the reports menu, it may mean that you are using a version of Internet Explorer that is not supported. In the middle of the screen you should see some red writing underneath the Premier's Reading Challenge logo. Here you will be provided with a link to the reports menu if it does not show up in your main menu. These reports are used to show you who you have entered as completing the Premier's Reading Challenge. It is recommended that you run these reports to see who you have entered and make sure that all your students, as expected, have been entered as completing the Reading Challenge. If there are any discrepancies between these reports and your records, please contact us and we will help you. Now, step 1, go to Menu, Non-Government and Enrolments. Select your school from the drop-down list. And enter your enrolment figures. Again, these are the total number of students enrolled in your school in each year level group. For example, as stated earlier, if you have 50 students in years reception to year 2, but only 45 complete the challenge, please enter 50 as the enrolment figure. For the sake of this video, I'll just add in some random numbers and I will not be saving the enrolments. So, you would enter the enrolment figures for the year levels as appropriate for your school. So if you are a reception to Year 7 school, you would only enter enrolments for years R to 2, 3 to 5 and 6 to 9. The Year 6 to 9 group being your Year 6-7 students. You would then click Save Enrolments, which I will not do, and click Close. Now, step 2. This is where you will enter the students who have completed the challenge at your school in a previous year. Please remember to enter your enrolment figures before entering any data. If you do not, you may find that there are no students listed under your existing students. So, enter your existing students. Please go to Menu, then Non-Government, then Existing Students. Select your school from the drop-down list. You will see that there is a red labelled box next to the school selection. By default, the list will only show you the students who completed the challenge at your school in the previous year. If you would like to see all the students who have completed the challenge at your school in all previous years, please tick the box next to the red highlighted section. Your enrolment students will come up. Your enrolled students, sorry. From here, you can check the students who have completed the reading challenge at your school. This list can be sorted by last name or first name or year level by clicking on the appropriate header. So, for the sake of this video, I would like the students to be sorted by last name. So I will click on the last name and the list of students will be sorted alphabetically by surname. Now, this is where you can start putting in your ticks for those who have completed the challenge. It is highly recommended that you work in class groups and regularly click Completed PRC before you walk away from the computer for whatever reason. This is to ensure that your data will be saved. If you do not click Completed PRC at regular intervals, you risk losing your data and having to do it all again. So, to select students as completing the challenge, click in the Completed column next to their name. These ticks can be undone by re-clicking on the box. Now, for the students who have consent to print, this means that they have consent for their name to appear on the Hall of Fame Honour Roll on the website once they achieve their 7th year of completing the reading challenge. To mark them as having this consent as indicated on their student reading records, please tick the Consent to Print box. If they do not have this marked on their reading record, please leave it blank. You can also enter the roll class for each student by clicking in the roll class column and entering the roll class. This will help us to sort your records for ease of award distribution. You can also enter the date of birth by clicking in the date of birth column. This will bring up a box where you can also edit their name if required. So you click in the date of birth column, and you can change their name, their surname, and enter their date of birth. The date of birth is particularly helpful for PRC staff in matching students. You may notice that your ticks may disappear once you have edited some of these records. We do apologise for this and request that you again select your completed students. And ensure you include the consent to print. So I'll just tick a few students. Okay. Step 3 is editing student details. To edit a student's details, click on their name or date of birth and the box will come up. Here you can change their name or their surname to ensure their correct spelling. Please note that the spelling you use here is the spelling that will appear on their certificates, so we ask that you check the spelling clearly and carefully and click update for each student. You can also enter their date of birth in this box and click update. In this case I will not. And here I'll be entering a date of birth. I'll just click close. You can also update their year level by clicking on the year level and selecting the correct year level if the listed year level is incorrect. You will not need to do this for most students. However, the option is there should you need it. Now check that all your ticks are there and click Completed PRC. For the sake of this video, I will just click close. Again, please check all your ticks and click Completed PRC on a regular basis. If you find that once you have clicked Completed PRC, your students are still listed in the list of existing students, you will need to recheck your ticks and press Completed PRC again. So you click Completed PRC and OK, and then close. The students you have ticked Completed PRC for should no longer appear in your existing students list. And they have now been entered as completing the challenge for the current year. So once you have done that, click close. And you are on to adding your new students, the students who have not completed the challenge at your school in a previous year. Okay, so you now go to Menu, Non-Government and New Students. Again, select your school from the drop-down list. You may need to scroll down, but you shouldn't need to. Okay, now make sure you hit clear to make sure all boxes are empty, which they should be by default. And now this is where you enter the student's first name, their last name, their gender by selecting from the drop-down list, their year level, again by selecting the drop-down list, and their date of birth, which is a mandatory field. You will also select the consent to print and their previous school. If it is unknown, leave the box checked as unknown, but if you do know what school they came from, please select known, and the box next to it will become a mandatory field for you to fill in. This will help PRC to manually match these students to any previous records of completing the Premier's Reading Challenge at other schools in other years, and limit the case of incorrect awards being presented. So again, you would also check your consent to print and your preferred name. This is the name that will appear on the student certificate. For example, if a student has an anglicised version of a name, you would enter that in the preferred name. Here you can also enter the roll class and the consent to print as indicated on their student reading record if signed by their parents or guardian. Once you have entered all these details, you would then click Save. Of course, I have not entered any students, so I get a unable to save message. So I'll just click OK. But if you have entered a student, then click Save and they will appear in the box in the middle of the screen there. And you can move on to the next student. There is no need to click Completed PRC for these students. Hitting Save is all that is required. Once you have completed those, you click Close. You can also sort the list by last name and year level if required. Once you have entered all your new students, click Close and return to the main menu. Close. And now we are on to running our reports. We recommend that you run the reports each time you enter your data so that you can check that all the students you have entered have in fact been entered as expected. If you notice any discrepancies, please let us know. Again, if you do not see the reports menu under Menu, it should be in a red link underneath the Premier's Reading Challenge logo on the main screen. So we go Non-Government and Reports. You will see 4 different types of reports listed, which allocate which data is shown. You will see student participation by status, which is whether they are new or existing, by year level, and by roll class, which run the student reports as expected by year level or by roll class as entered. So select the report you wish to run. In this case, I will select student participation by status. No, by year level, I think. Again, I reiterate that it is recommended that you run this report each time you enter your data to keep track of which students you have entered. So student participation by year level, and click. And then you enter your site from the drop-down list, which is your site number, or you can search by your school name. Enter the correct year and run your report. And there it is. And you can see that the students are listed in order of year level. You can now save these reports to your computer using either the PDF or the Excel buttons in the top right hand corner of your screen. For the sake of this video, I will export this report to Excel, where I can save and manipulate the data as required. So I've clicked Excel, I shall open the report, and there we go. And I can now change that, save it, and edit it as required. So I will click Close, and I will go back to the menu and exit the system. And your data entry is now complete. Again, if you have any inquiries, please let us know and please email us. So thank you and good luck. And please contact us if you have any questions or difficulties. All the best and happy reading!